In this video, I'm going to look at how to take the front wheel off a car. Yes, it is actually different. Have a look. We're at the front of the car here, and we're going to put that spare wheel over there on. The difference is that the back wheels will often lock up. So if you can see it on top of those wheel chocks under those tyres there. They'll lock up with the brakes or the handbrake, and you can do the nuts up quite tight. It's different with the front wheels. Once the wheel's up, it normally will spin freely. This is in a rear-wheel drive car, of course. And if it's not, then you don't really want to be straining against the clutches and gears and transmissions and so forth on your front-wheel drive car. So what we do to start with is just loosen off the nuts while the wheel has still got the weight on it, but you don't take them right out and you don't loosen them right off. You just get the tight bit out of them to start with. Okay, so you need to undo these. Undoing a nut is against the clock. If the clock is here, 1, 2, 3, 4, you always do up a nut clockwise, you always undo a nut anti-clockwise. Now wheel nuts are going to be tight, so you've got to give it to it. But if they're too tight, you can actually put the spanner the other way around, as long as you get it firmly on there so it's not going to come off. And then you can stand on the spanner to loosen the wheel like that. And again, don't leave the nuts loose on the front because the full weight of the car is still sitting here. So pull it back so it's a little bit snug. Fully on. Try not to bounce too much, but undo it. And we'll get this off. They are tight. Just that real tight bit is what we're after. And to do this well, when you put the wheel back on, do a similar thing. Okay, now we'll take the weight off the car. I've got the jack all ready to go. There we go, jacked up. It's probably a great shot of my not best angle. You don't want it too high up here because you just got to lift the wheel a long way and drop it down a long way if you lift it up too much. And then we take all of the wheel nuts off. See, the wheel is now spinning, and if they'd been tight, I'd be trying to undo the wheel and the wheel itself would spin instead of the nut. Okay, got the first 4 on. Now the last one, I like to put these on by hand rather than on a spanner or with a spanner, just to start them off. It saves just the banging and chipping the paint. Often your mag wheels are got paint on them, and it just saves chipping and damaging the paint. So get them going by hand like that. You know it's started, not going to cross thread, particularly if you're using a rattle gun or a power tool. That'll make sure it's on good and straight. And we just do it up like this, and I'll show you what I mean. Now that's come up to touch. If I try and tighten that, see how the wheel turns? Now you can get a bit of tension in it while it's like that. And I'm just, again, when you're tightening up, it's super important that you miss one each time. This is a 5-bolt stud pattern. If you're doing 4, you go across and then across. But with 5, you miss one. So do this one and then do this one. Give it a tighten. This one, particularly when it's spinning, it's a bit easier to keep track that way of where you're at. There we go. So they're up tight. Now here's the special tip. If you go down all the way and put the full weight of the wheel onto the tyre, if you don't have it quite up flush and flat, if you haven't quite got it right, you know, it can be a little bit of muck in there, or a bit of a burr or something like that. Because the full weight's on, as you tighten it up, you may not pull the wheel in flat. So here's the special tip. Just lower the jack down enough to get a bit of grip on that tyre so that it's not spinning anymore, but you haven't put the full weight of the vehicle down. So you can still make that up beautifully and flat and correctly onto the hub. And now you can give it that extra bit, and you see there's a lot more movement coming out of the spanner now the wheel's fixed. If we'd just gotten by with what was done, that wouldn't be tight enough. To get these tightened up enough, you do need to have them really good. And if you've changed a wheel and you find there's a vibration in your car, you've changed a wheel in the last few days or week, sure enough, you go out and make sure that you've got your wheel nuts done up really, really tight. So that's good. I'm going to wind it down the rest of the way now. And yet, you guessed it, I'm then going to go around. Make sure they're all super snug. That's it, jack's out, no weight. Start down here. See, a little bit more. A little bit more. That's nice. And again, if you're changing a tyre on the side of the road, you do what you can, and that will be fine to get you home, I'm sure. But you can stand on these as well. Like if you're wanting to tighten them up, just make sure that's fully on the nut, not half slipped off, and then you can tighten with your foot. But they're nicely tight enough as it is. Okay, there it is, front wheel. So just a very different procedure for tightening it up to make sure that the back of the wheel lines up perfectly flat where it mounts on here. And that way the wheel will run true and there'll be no vibrations, everything will be spot on. Okay, thanks for watching. There's a much more comprehensive view of how to change a tyre on this particular car. There's a lot of BMW extra special helps and things. Have a look at my channel, Mark's Reviews and tutorials, and you'll see that. There's a lot of extra little bits about where to put the jack and all those sorts of things. But cool, have fun and change your tyre with confidence.